always gardening and prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you back out to the shed of many names on this evening, the day of harvesting beautiful, fresh, stinging nettle. Yes, I think this batch puts me close to about half a bag left, so I still have plenty more to go. So this I'm going to cut up, and I'm going to put it on my dehydrator trays. You notice I got them stacked up and ready to go. I do have my liners in there. Now if you don't have liners, you can use parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper, and poke holes in it so the airflow can get through. Now I will say I'm going to pack my trays heavy, as I usually always do, because I have a lot of stinging nettle to take care of, and I refuse to let any of it go bad. Now, stinging nettle is an amazing plant. And this, the reason I'm dehydrating it is to put it back for tea for later on usage. Extremely high in many vitamins, potassium, iron, magnesium, and I could keep going. And plus many, many medicinal benefits. Now, everything I will have in the description box below, so you know exactly, you'll know most of everything. I want you to also do your own research as well, and that way you learn better. Just be careful about what sites you go to, and stay away from big pharma websites, because, well, you know, they don't like to tell the truth. But this will be perfectly fine dehydrated. It's going to be just as nutritious and wonderful for your body as fresh. This way, long-term storage, and it gives me room for the next harvest, which will probably be in 2 or 3 weeks. And plus I still have more to go pick if I want to, and believe me, I want to. So I'm gonna pause the camera and we're gonna get busy. Adjusted the camera, got me a big old drink of coffee, because you're going to want to wear a glove, everyone. And since these are spring, very young nettles, you can get away with using scissors, even old El Cheapo scissors. Now what I'm gonna be running my 2 dehydrators. I wished I had a couple of more, but hey, you work with what you have. And this is the silicone liners that I have, because, you know, the leaves will be dry, and small pieces, it'll make small pieces, but that's fine because I'm going to crumble it up anyway. Okay, and what you're going to do is grab your nettles. Now believe me, even if they bounce up against your shirt, they can still get you. And you want to cut it up. All right, now look, you ain't supposed to be in there. And I have washed my nettles, but apparently some little buggies are still in there. But that's okay, this is for personal use. And you want to cut it up in a small piece. Well, small pieces, you don't want to get too awful small, because they're going to crumble up when you get ready. And of course you want to look for dying leaves and take those out. I'll try to get a good handful to work with. And yes, you want the stems as well as the leaves, because they're all nutritious. Oh, it smells so good. You know, spring's almost here when you smell the smell of nettles. You want to leave that center hole open. And don't you worry, you can pack it this tight. It'll be fine. Now, my dehydrators are air forced dehydrators, and they do an amazing job. And that's how I can get away with really loading my trays up, because they will dry them. And you want to try to avoid the urge to grab these barehanded, because they'll get you and they won't think twice about it, and they won't feel sorry at all. I am so looking forward to having these. Uh-oh. Come here, you. Excuse me. I am so looking forward to having these saved up and jarred up and put back for later on usage during the summer, during the fall, and especially during the winter. Because not only can you make tea with this, but you can throw it into soups and so many wonderful, wonderful things. Like I said, you gotta be careful because they will get you. Like I said, make sure you leave that center hole open. But they are so nutritious for you. Okay, that's enough for the first tray. And the second tray will ride right on top. Alright, you're going to want to just keep on cutting them up and adding your trays. And I will bring you back as soon as I get all 8 trays done. I'll see you back here in a little while. Okay, I have my 2 dehydrators loaded with cut up stinging nettle. Now, I will say, if you don't feel comfortable stacking your trays as thickly as I do, that's fine. It's your dehydrators, it's your stinging nettle. Dry them the way you want to dry them. I just have so much that I need to get these babies dried as soon as possible. Now, also, if your lids raise up a little bit, don't worry. As they dehydrate, everything's going to fall back down upon itself. Everything will be fine. You just got to believe in yourself. Now, I'm going to let these go overnight. Since there's well, not big stems, but since there's a little bit thick stems in there, it's going to take a little bit longer to dehydrate. But you know what? These babies will get the job done. And I will bring you back when they are dehydrated. And I am looking forward to jarring these babies up and putting them back for future use. I love stinging nettles. And they smell so wonderful when you're cutting them. And I got smacked by a couple of them. And I ended up having to do a second pile. Not quite as big as the first one. But I'm thankful. I've got a bunch of stinging nettle. And I still have about a half a bag left. So we're going to be busy for a while. And I'm fixing to plug these in, because I'm not going to do it now because they make noise. and it drowned me out, and it's going to get warm in here. But I'm looking forward to having these done, and I'll bring you back tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. Okay, welcome back. It's the next day, which is the first day of spring. So, spring equinox is upon us. The nettles are completely dry. I have shut the dehydrators off so that the nettles can cool and acclimate to room temperature. Let me move my coffee and let's get busy. Okay, I'm going to be using, believe it or not, this is from Dollar Tree. It's a cat litter pan, and I would love to thank Tammy once again for telling me about this wonderful way to empty dehydrator trays into without all the mess. And you want to make sure that you get all the pieces out, even the little pieces of dust. Because every bit of these nettles are extremely important. You don't want to waste anything. And I know once I'm done with this video, I have another. And that's what you want to hear. And of course, the heat touched them, so you're not going to be stung. And I know another whole batch of dehydrators to roll with more nettles. I'm going to continue to empty my trays, and I'll bring you right back. Okay, I'm at enough amount in here that I want to make sure that I break them up, because it'll make it easier to measure out for tea. Or add it to soup. Oh, and they didn't lose their smell. Look how vibrant, beautiful, lush green they are. This is a true blessing from nature to have these nettles. Get all of them in there. We had some that wanted to jump ship. And you'll see that they shrink down quite a bit. And it's not going to make near as much as you think, but some is better than none. I have 3 more trays to go. This is 5 packed dehydrator pools so far. I'll bring you back here in a bit. Okay, I have all 8 trays emptied into here. I'm going to mush them down. You want to break them down a little bit, not a whole lot. Because when you go to make tea, you want to make sure that your pieces are smaller so you can actually get the right amount to make tea. Or if you want to add it to soups. There's so many wonderful things you can do with nettles. Alright. I'm going to scoot them over a minute. Now somewhere around the screen I will link a card so you can see my other video showing you how to pressure seal jars. Now I'm going to be using my vacuum sealer this time. Or if you don't have a vacuum sealer, you can use the brake bleeder method. And in that video, it shows you how to use both. The only downfall to it is you have to have this specialized lid, of course. They come in a set. This is for regular mouth canning jars, and this one is for wide mouth canning jars, and they're sold as a set. This time I have regular mouth canning jars. And I'll show you the process because, yes, after I dehydrate and put my product in the jars, yes, I do vacuum seal them up. Now, if you wanted to, You could use a funnel, but as it builds up to the top of the jar, I'll start pushing it down more. Because I want to get as much as possible in each jar. Because jars are very valuable. Looks like I might only get 2 quart jars out of this, but hey, that's 2 quart jars more than I had. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of room, not a whole lot. Okay, we're going to move that out of the way for a minute. And what you're going to do, put your band aside. Make sure there's nothing on the rim. And of course, you could also use a paper towel or a rag to wipe it. And you're going to want to put your lid all the way down. Make sure that your first lid is on good. Put your second lid on. This one, you'll see the hole right in the center. You want to match it up with the, so you can see the ring around the top of the lid. You're going to want to match it up there. Turn your machine on. And you wait till the light goes off. And that means, should mean, gently take that lid off. And all I have my fingers on is the lid. That jar of beautiful stinging nettles is completely sealed. I'll put the band on just for security. And you'll be happy to have these throughout the year. Of course, you can continue to harvest nettles as much as you can. Here, as long as we keep them trimmed, we can get 3 to 4 harvests before we do let them continue to grow and go to seed. You don't want to stress your plants out too awful much. I'm telling you, this is going to make a lot of tea. And later on, as the year goes on, and I get to harvest other culinary medicinal herbs, I will bring you back and show you how to make different tea mixes. Okay. Now this rest I'm going to put into this jar. I had an escapee, get in there. The rest I'm going to put into this jar because I'm going to be dehydrating another batch. As you notice, you have escapees, but you know what? That's perfectly fine, and that's why I tell everybody, make sure that your countertops or your workspace is sanitized. That way you can just scoop them on in. Now this one I'm not going to vacuum seal. I'm just going to put it aside until the next batch is finished. And you want to make sure that your rims are clean. Put your lid on, and you can hear that it's popping. Take your top again, put it right there perfectly on top of that. Push your button. And wait for your light to go off. And I cut my machine off. Take my lid off gently. As you can hear, no popping. And that jar is vacuum sealed. Now, as you're vacuum sealing, you might see that the nettles or whatever you're vacuum sealing go up. That's fine. That just means it's pulling the air out of the jar. Nothing's wrong. It's going to be perfectly fine. And I forgot my my marker again. And you're going to want to write Stinging Nettles, and I dehydrated them 3/22. Now, of course, to me this is a waste of doing labels, but I need to keep up with them because when I finish this whole year, I'm going to take them and put them into half-gallon jars for easier storage. But see, it's how simple and easy. And then babies are sealed. They're completely and thoroughly dried. Okay, hold on just a second. I'll pause it. I'll bring you right back. And as you can see, it's the great juggle game in the shed of many names. But that's okay. I'll get everything organized in here again. But see, simple, easy, 8 very packed dehydrator trays. Gave me 2 beautiful packed quart jars of beautiful stinging nettle to put back on the shelf. I'm looking forward to seeing how many more harvests I get this year to put back. And when I go to make my teas, I will bring you back, I promise. And we'll make some stinging nettle tea mixes together. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it encourages you to dehydrate and harvest. Well, let me reverse that. Harvest and dehydrate you some stinging nettles as well. Now, do not forget to put some of the fresh aside because I've got 2 more videos to do. It's first day of spring, and traditionally first day of spring you eat nettles and drink nettle tea. So I will be doing a video on making nettle tea as well as a very delicious stir-fried nettle dish, which is just wonderful for the first day of spring. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I will answer them as soon as possible. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it encourages you to grow stinging nettles as well. Stinging nettles should be in everyone's herb garden, a section in your garden, or growing out on your property in the woods if you have a wooded area. Grow them because they are an amazing medicinal plant. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. May you each be blessed and take care, everyone. See you soon.